to go with the 50% of the cost of the sand for the golf course. So those in favor, raise your hand. I'll be the break vote time. Opposed? Abstained? Okay, 3 voting yes, affirmative, and 1 abstaining. Okay, the next item, and motion passes. Okay, number item was approve the bids for the lunch event at the annual meeting. Again, we don't know whether this was included in the budget or not, and to be honest with you, we haven't made a decision on the annual meeting yet, so I'll take some comments on the floor as to what we should do with this particular item. Robert?
I would like to table this until we are further along in the agenda and make some decisions on the annual meeting.
Brianna?
A second.
What?
I second. I think we can talk about the annual meeting.
Dustin?
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor of temporarily tabling it until later in the meeting?
Yes.
Raise your hand. All right. Okay, okay, there's one other item here that is to...
Not yet, it's coming. COVID-19.
It's coming. We wanted to get the expense items out of the way first. Okay, the next expense item, okay, this is for the Gidon flags at the empty saddle. Now, traditionally, over the past, okay, I was on the board 5.5 years, and for those 5 years, the whatever you call this person, director of operations, executive officer, this is an item that was built into the flag budget because they have to be replaced every year. We do it at Fort Park Days. And that item was made part of the budget every year. We really honestly cannot tell whether that was put in the budget for this year. We have $2,500 allowed for flags, but we don't know what it's been spent on. So the community council purchased the flags for the event at a cost of where is it?
So $1,310.40
Yes.
for the guidons and $100 rush shipping fee. to
Yes,
get it here.
for $14,1040. Thank you. It is an expense ordinarily included in the FCSA budget as an FCSA expense because the flags are hoisted on FCSA property in common property. It's not generally a community council expense. They footed the bill, paid for it up front, but we still have to approve that expense to be paid here. Do we have a motion to either pay or to reimburse or pay part of or whatever with community council?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, in fact, on this issue, let's go ahead and take comments first before we do
Okay.
this. We may be out of order, but at least we'll have a chance to talk about it.
Are we discussing it?
Yeah.
I remember a year ago, year and a half ago, that there was a big issue about the flags. And at that point, I remember seeing in a meeting tape that somebody had stepped forward. They were going to,
That's right.
Mr. Reisman.
that he has an account for it?
There's an account for it.
And that would members put in, am I daydreaming this or was
No, he
it?
gets a contribution every year for the rest of his life
Okay, so.
for flags.
So really, there is somebody out there that has access to this account that's a donation, correct?
You all have access.
The Fort has access.
Right, the fort has access to it. Our issue now is we don't know how the flag budget is. So normally this would just be a budget item that's paid and we would not be
Yes.
up here voting on it. But since we don't know where that money is, just to be safe, to make sure that the bill is paid, we're gonna vote on whether or not to pay this.
And I know it seems strange to you, the membership, please understand, it seems strange to us, the new board members, because there's been so much turnover in the central office that you know has occurred, that there's a lot of things that people with knowledge aren't there any longer to tell us these things. So it puts everybody in a bad situation, but as a member, I'm upset and frustrated too, because that knowledge I don't think should have been lost like it was.
Should we approach Mr. Reisman?
The only thing that I heard is that the money that was set aside in a fund for flags was somehow rolled over into our general account. We don't know if that's true or not, but the only thing on the budget just says flags. And we always budget for flags, because if something else happens, you have to be able to replace a tattered flag and the Guidon flags. So we can't find it, and it's, okay, Memo,
Mr. Barnes may be able to redirect you on that. He'll tell you where it all landed.
do you think he knows?
Yes, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to make a phone call.
No, I have no problem with that.
Okay, I feel like I'm a bad person on this. Just-
No, you're not.
No.
Well, because last month when we were kind of going over what we were going to charge community council for the fees, the board, it was kind of crazy, but it ended up being about $1,500. I think we're only going to get like $210 for what we proposed. We got this in March. So we got this in March, so we didn't know this was going to kind of happen. To me, the flags are kind of like the buildings. It preserves the history. So we can't get donations as the associations because we're not a 501c3. I'm not saying this burden all needs to go on community councils, but we do have 3 501c3s. And maybe y'all don't see the flags like I do as the history of the fort, and it should be a business item. I don't know, but I personally feel it could kind of be tied into the history, like the historic buildings and stuff. So
Preservation.
So in the future, regardless of what we vote on today, in the future, what might be easier, and then maybe we can work with community council or the other 502, is just say, in the future, the only thing that Fort Clark wants is a Guidon flag done once a year. If that's the one thing that y'all can help, we can raise money for Fort Clark Days, instead of trying to pick every venue out or whatever, just be a flat $1,500 and the responsibility. And like I said, it doesn't have to be community council, but it's from the 501, either the gun club, the preservation, or community council.
Preservation's not 501c3.
Okay,
Well, the historical society, yes.
we'll take comments after we finish up here.
That's only my thing, is I feel like the last board did do a lot of work to try to bring in some revenue, and we kind of took it away and brought it down to $210, and now we have this kind of high bill that the association's gonna have to flip. And like I said, I have looked at this, and we're like, our electricity's already $17,000 over budget. Where are we getting this extra income from? I'm sorry, I don't like to be the bad person.
$388,000 in depreciation and stuff that's in the
Not the
budget.
depreciation, there's no depreciation in electricity.
No, we'll argue about that later. Okay, all I'm saying is that, what I'd like to say is the venue, that was an in-kind donation. We didn't bring in $1,500 or whatever it turned out to be. That was the association's donation to Fort Clark Days. Okay, and we've always made a donation in the past in some form. This year it was in kind. So to argue about a budget item, that's a donation. We do have money set aside in donations to take care of things like that. Okay, so it basically comes down to 2 options. Well, 3. We pay the entire bill, we pay a portion of the bill, or we hang community council out to dry for $1,400. Okay, that's basically what we're talking about. All right. So I'm going to ask for a motion from the table as to how to handle this issue, and then we'll take comments from the floor.
I move that we pay the entire bill and then figure out where this lifetime donation, where it is for the flags.
You want to rephrase that a little more clearly?
Well, Mr. Guzman said there was a lifetime donation, so we need to find out where that lifetime donation is. So I move at this time that we
In his
pay for,
age.
excuse me?
In his age.
In his age.
How
Right.
old is he?
Can I make a comment before? we
That's,
get on
that's
this?
here, there.
The fort either needs to budget for flags, because we have a lot of flags on the fort. And
They're expensive.
Good quality flags are very expensive. If we need to budget for that, that's a thing that we'll have to discuss. If there are donations out there that can be filtered through one of our 501c3s, then we will have a discussion with them on how to route that and get these flags purchased. But I think that we need to eat this one, because there was evidently no discussion, unfortunately, between us and community council on this prior. There will seem to be an expectation that the fort would pay that bill. So no, I think we should do it this time. But, and in the future, going forward, we will make arrangements to either budget this or arrange for one of our 501c3s to take the donation money and buy the flags.
Again, another issue with the budget that we're going to have to handle when all the expenses are in. So, and she just located
Well, I just
something.
received a text, it says Mr. Reisman would donate $500 a year for flags, but we called this year and he couldn't donate due to his wife being in the nursing home.
Okay.
And I like to make a disclaimer for community council, I'm not trying, it looks like I'm the one that's kind of like, where I'm not comfortable making financial decisions yet, and I guess like we're gonna go over this more with I guess the CPA and everything next month. So please don't be mad at me, because I'm gonna probably just because I think they're important, but I just don't feel like I'm conscious that I can
Okay.
vote on it.
A reminder, people, nobody wants to pay their bills, but we have to. Okay? We have credit ratings we have to deal with. We've got credit ratings we have to deal with. We find the money somewhere if we make a commitment. So, would you please restate your motion?
I move that we pay the bill to Eagle Mountain Flag to community council as presented. How's that?
Thank
I'll
you.
second the motion.
Okay, now we have a motion and a second. We'll take our first comment from the floor. Natanya.
Thank you. So just I'm not mad, it's business. And I totally get that. It's interesting because the conversation now, I think, is exactly why Mr. Reisman said, hey, I'm going to donate this money. So we are not fighting over whether these flags are paid for year after year. The flags, and I don't know if anyone, well, I'm sure many folks in here noticed the condition of the guide-on flags prior to Fort Clark days. It was awful. There was a lot of work done to the empty saddle, all volunteer work. Cleaning it up, cleaning the empty saddle, going in, painting the posts, all that stuff is volunteer work. Cleaning up a whole lot of areas around the fort, all volunteers. I mean, we literally had over 70 volunteers for Fort Clark days. But as far as, community council, put on community council, we'll make sure it's paid. I'm sorry, Mother. Mother's my treasurer. But it's part of it. But then moving forward, of course, we got a plan to bring in that additional money into the budget. And at the end of the day, we had over 150 living historians
No,
here.
it was good.
We have people come from Dallas, that's probably the furthest within the state of Texas, come from Dallas. We had folks here from New Mexico, from Arizona. That's huge as far as marketing the fort. The hotel was booked. We had living historians actually on a waiting list that managed to get in. We had folks having to stay in Del Rio and Uvalde coming in for Fort Clark days. And so it's a really good marketing thing for the fort. The flags, in my opinion, are something, it's a pride issue for me, it's a history issue. That's who we are. As a fort, as Fort Clark Springs, we are a decommissioned Army base with a cavalry history. That's part of what we're about. And we have a lot of other flags. And if I could just add, if I may, just on the other flags, the American flags that are on the fort elsewhere, can we please get the lights fixed so that there is light on those at night, or instruct those flags to be taken down at sunset? Thank you. Sorry, you can tell I've got a whole lot of pride in my country.
Speaking of your mother, is she made, when we went to that community council, is she thinking of stepping down from community council?
No, yeah.
Well, the only reason I say that is because I know that she taught the financial piece, so we do have a board, and she would be great to put her name on our board.
Yeah.
Okay, we're off topic here.
I'll say,
Not
but,
really.
yes, no, she actually is gonna remain treasurer through, January which is when the annual election is, that's when her term is up. I won't say we did any kind of strong arming or anything on community council to keep her in that position, but she's excellent with the books and managing all that stuff, so.
Class.
Basically.
Thank you, ma'am.
Second person? Anybody? Oh, here it comes.
We saw your hand that time.
Kathy Warm.
Catching up. Okay, I'd like to get back to the topic of the flags. Okay, for the budget item, a suggestion would be, because we don't know where the money is, maybe you could have a budget item just for the big flags that we have all over the fort, and another line item for the guiding flags, if that's what you call it, and that one there, okay? My next comment is, I think what Mimo said is great. Call Richard, and maybe he can help clarify where the money went. And the other one would be, should it not be in the minutes from the meetings? I don't know. One never knows anymore, but maybe someone could check the minutes from the past and see if it says where they went. And it should have when you started the donation. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Third person?
I just have a quick comment with regard to the money. Same issue with Horse Club, had $4,000 put aside to start repairing and restoring the barn, and that has disappeared.
I don't think it's as much disappeared as absorbed into the,
General fund and.
Probably.
We were told.
because we don't have multiple funds, and our accounting people and auditors.
I'm just
say
saying,
no.
that's what was told to us by Maria Perkins, that $4,000 no longer exists.
Okay. Again, we're going to review the budget. We'll end up probably totally revamping it. Okay. All right.
There's a
We have a motion. Would you read the motion back, please?
Motion. Pay entire bill to community council.
Okay.
That is the gist of it.
Are we sending it to Eagle Mountain, or is it?
You haven't, have you prepaid it? Have you paid? It's been paid.
It'll go to Eagle Mountain.
Oh,
If you approve, if you don't, we will pay Eagle Mountain
It needs to
direct.
go directly to them.
that's all you haven't paid it already?
Correct.
Okay, okay. All right, the motion on the floor is that we pay the bill in full directly to Eagle for the guidon flags. Okay, we're ready for a vote. All those in favor? Okay, I'll break the tie. Opposed? Abstaining. All right, 3 affirmative. The motion passes, 1 abstaining. Okay, the last one is consider participation in front of the festival birding event. I think that goes along with all the other activities.
I spoke to the Ag Extension agent yesterday on the phone. I left her a message and then she returned my call. The message was like a week or 2 ago when Ms. Partlow sent this out. And at this time, their birding experience is on hold
Okay,
pending COVID-19.
okay, can somebody want to table that one then?
Yes, I move that we table that item.
I will second the motion.
All in favor? Okay, that will be tabled to hopefully a future day because it sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, now the begin. I think we got, unless everybody looking through here, did we get everything that we needed approval? Yes. They, it was announced at the beginning that the Garden Club withdrew their request to be on the agenda until a later date. And we voted on that at the beginning as a change of agenda item. Okay. Okay, this is the addition to the agenda. And just addition to the agenda. Oh, by the way, we'll get that bill to Sherry to get that taken care of. Okay, just get past the verbs. Okay, our life is changing. We've had a lot of members asking us what we're going to do about a whole lot of things. This is set up kind of, if you three agree, part discussion, part vote, depending on what comes out of it. We will open this up to the floor. We won't take 100 comments, but we'll see what kind of time we have. It's actually 11:15 or so. Does anyone need to take a break before we start this conversation? Okay, all right, we'll go a little while then. Okay, COVID's all over the air. Everybody knows about it. Last night we did have people show up for the Jack Clarkson band. We were outdoors. Didn't actually go undercover until it started raining on us. But we did have that. Pancake breakfast is still on for the 21st. Yeah. And but we need to make some decisions about how to do things. We do not want to create fear. Yesterday I had a lab appointment in Del Rio at Valverde Clinic, and I asked them if they were aware of any infection in our area, and they said not as of yesterday. Okay, but we have to prepare for that possibility, and we have a lot of senior citizens on the campus that we have to take care of, and we have employees that we want to make sure stay healthy so they can do the daily operations of the association. So, I had some suggestions that I typed up yesterday. I have no idea whether these three have even read them. They are reflective of what our employees would like to do as far as their exposure to visitors of all kinds, members, non-members, whatever. So I guess what I'm going to just do right now is just allow all of the directors to make their comments, things that they might be interested in doing for employees and our members. So Robert, go for it. No.
There are 33 people in this room, so we are below the CDC's recommendation of 50, so that's nice. At 3:15 today, I have to be back at the school because as of yesterday, the Commissioner of Education closed all public schools in Texas through April 3rd, so all schools are required to do distance learning. I need to be back so I can be taught how to do distance learning for yearbook over this afternoon, over the next 3-4 weeks. The recommendations that I've seen from Facebook and from emails coming in is that we're all adults, we can make those decisions as to what we attend, when we attend them, and I have a tendency to agree with that. But then again, I worry about people like me who travel from Bexar County where there are people with COVID-19 brought into Lackland Air Force Base, and then 4 people have traveled into Bexar County who have tested positive for COVID coming to this community, because I would not want to be the one that kills 3/4 of the population on the fort because they are over age 60 and have underlying health conditions. So I thought about staying at home today, not for me, but for y'all. So I think we do need to be aware of it, but I do not think it is our job as a board to be an authoritarian government and set dictates. I think that you can decide whether you want to go to the pool. If you think it's an issue, then I don't think you should go. If you think you're fine, then go. If you think that you need to socially distance yourself and not show up to a meeting, I think that's your call. So I understand both, and I'm not one of the emails said that we were only looking at it, the two of us were looking at it only as a liability issue. Nobody looks at things in that small of a context. And it upsets me when people make accusations and they're not privy to the entire conversations. So please understand that we've looked at this in all kinds of directions, through email, through conversations on the phone, and none of us is taking it lightly. But I don't want to infringe on your ability to do things because of my fear, my panic, my worry. So that's where I stand.
Brianna?
Are we talking about the annual meeting right now, or just
No.
everything?
In general.
COVID in
Start
general.
with, then we're gonna go through that stuff. Do you have anything else to add to what you say, Justin?
I'm of very similar mindset to Mr. Mummy. We're all adults here. We all pay for the amenities on this fort. It is not our job as the board of Fort Clark Springs to babysit the membership or coddle the membership or direct the membership where they may or may not go. We have a responsibility to make every effort to keep the employees of Fort Clark Springs as safe as we reasonably can. The membership is comprised of reasonable adults. And if you all want to go to the pool, it's an amenity that you pay for, and it's not one that I am willing to limit your access to because of this. Likewise, at the adult center, I know the bridge club is there. The gun club has decided to postpone their meetings. That was their call. I have no problem with that. If the bridge club doesn't want to go play bridge there, I have no problem with that. But I don't feel as a director or a board member that we should be telling y'all what to do. We will put information out and make it available to y'all on this. And it's not to say that the fort is not a special case, because it is. Our membership, a very large portion of it, is of the age where this is very, very dangerous, should it get out. That's all I really want to point out. If you feel that you should stay home and distance yourself, that's your call. If you're willing to come out and go dancing, or go play bridge, or go golfing, or do whatever else you do during your everyday life, feel free to do it. As far as I'm concerned, it's your life. You're adults. You're responsible.
I agree with all that. Just to put it in perspective, we as a board do not have the legal authority to tell our property owners that they have to stay on the fort or that they can't leave the fort. We don't have the authority to do that. We are not a city. We are a private homeowners association that has no quarantine authority. So beside that, you guys have to determine what's best for you. I yesterday made I'm just going to read the things that this is generated from our employees, and they're actually kind of reacting to what MUD and RGE and other companies have done. And the recommendations from our administration people, the front desk people, are that we close the lobby. They will remain to work, but to close the lobby, and we have what our old suggestion box. They've made a sign for it, hoping that we would agree with them. Put outside the door, so if anybody has to deliver paperwork, it's like the box at MUD that you can deliver, you can put your payments in. If you've got paperwork, checks, or anything that you need to deliver, you can put in that box. They will check the box periodically during the day, bring it in at night to handle the business. They just would prefer not to be exposed to strangers. Not too worried about members, but then again, members go off the fort, Walmart, all places. And they're concerned, they have families, they have small children, they're concerned. So what they want to do is to have us close the lobby, have a drop box for, they didn't specify a time limit for at least 2 weeks, and then we review and extend after that. The employees will remain on the job and conduct business as usual. Employees will, or at least this is my idea, will immediately report any illness or known or suspected exposure to COVID-19 to our HR person, to Julie, so that we can take steps to send them home, do whatever we need to do to protect everybody else. And then Julie will notify the rest of the board that this has been reported to her. That way the employees have one single source to report any of their concerns to, rather than, all of us trying to get together to see who said what to whom. It would encourage security and maintenance crew to practice their own social distancing. It's kind of hard for them, they got to get out there and get dirty. RV park employees have a unique challenge because they have to deal with the public. So hand washing, sanitizing where they can, 6 feet distance, whatever. And we may have some employees that lose childcare because of this, because they close the daycares. So there's a possibility that we may be able to send them home with our computers so they can still work from home if the choice is resign or take care of the kids. And motel staff should be using gloves no matter what. So this will be up to the supervisors to decide. As far as the members, we can ask clubs to cancel their activities and their meetings and special events, but it's kind of up to the club. And you can go or not go. Same with the adult center, take your own sanitizer. We want it to be open. People need to exercise, people need to do what they need to do. We can ask, this is something we do have control over, we can cancel or suspend all the commercial classes. In other words, the ones that people pay, dance or whatever, because they are there under the permission of the board of directors, and that if we decide to do that, we can cancel those classes. That's our thing. I think if you don't mind, let's handle the thing with the employees up front. Accounting's in a closed office. They don't deal with the public, that the front office does. So I'd like comments on the suggestion that we close the lobby at their request, put the lockbox outside, and allow people to drop off their documents, and then they'll handle things by phone or email. And this is at the request of the employees. Rihanna was in the office yesterday with me when they made the request.
We can kind of open it up. To the-
Yeah. Okay.
We want to discuss it.
Yeah, let's discuss this ourselves first, and then let's just keep it in
Okay.
line. Robert,
Me first.
so we want to get you out of here.
I wasn't privy to the conversation yesterday, so I'd like to hear more information first.
The girls are they're worried if someone cough. It just takes one cough if they have it, and they're the front of the line right there. They didn't have any hand sanitizer. I dropped it off for them. It's everything's limited. So if there's a way that we can still accommodate the customers, we'll still be here, but the door will be closed. And if there's a way, they're talking about putting in a box, but maybe there's something a little bit easier to get payments. They just don't want that person-to-person contact. And then we're not asking for anything other than, like Rio Grande, you can't walk into their office anymore right now.
Same with Bud. Same with Bud.
Okay, but what if I'm a hotel guest? How are we going to handle me? Because we
They
can't.
said that they could take the keys to security and they can pick them up at the security. And then two, what are they saying? It takes about 3 hours after someone leaves for the particles. So then let the housekeeping know pretty much when people are checked out. So that way, just to be safe for housekeeping to go in there, that they can maybe time the room cleanings.
But if security has the keys, how are they paying? How are they?
It's the same way for after hours and stuff. A lot of people, they reserve their rooms anyway by credit card. Yeah. It's just a matter of picking up keys. And that's what they do anyway for after hours. If people come in late or come in early, it goes through security. So it's not exactly a new measure.
But we do plan on keeping motel and RV open, correct?
Yes. we have to, the loss of that revenue would ensure an increase in assessments and probably a special assessment, so we don't want to do that. Because we would have to cover the revenue, lost revenue, the membership would, so we don't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm not wholly opposed to closing the office to the public, however, we are absolutely, I'm not comfortable with a lockbox put out on the sidewalk, even if the ladies can see it through the window, because you can just drive right up there and run off with it.
Well, I think the door, I think if someone comes, I think you can talk, you know what I mean? You just have that barrier, so I
Right,
think
but
they
I'm
can,
talking about dropping off payments,
No, I
I'm
don't-
talking about people's money sitting on the curb.
No, I don't like
I'm
that either.
Not on the
comfortable with that.
curb, it would be, well, we can possibly, put it just inside the door.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Open
I
the door,
don't
drop your
have
stuff.
a problem if we want to build like a welded steel box and bolt it to the concrete as a sort of a permanent fixture. I'm okay with that. What we absolutely have to make accommodation for is card payments. A lot of people who don't pay with cash or don't even have a checkbook for some strange reason. But we can do it on the phone?
Absolutely,
Oh,
you do it on the
okay.
phone.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, as long as we can safely take and receive payments, I'm okay with that.
Okay. Okay, the girls were very, well, depending on who you talk to, they were very alarmed yesterday, feeling that they were being exposed, and we calmed them down and asked them before they panicked to wait till the board meeting today. So this is pretty much at the request of the three ladies in the front office. We can work out something with the lockbox, whether it's,
We'll take comments
Yeah.
here in a minute.
Okay.
I promise.
or I'm getting, so, security, what about their immune system or whatever?
Well-
So maybe we should put the keys in the room when someone calls that they're here? Now I'm getting comments that,
from,
from Philip, that basically,
let's do the front office first and then
that's what he's
let's.
talking about, but for the motel, because if we send everything out to security, how's security gonna be protected?
Well, that's a point, but it's gonna be an issue anyway for people who come in after hours. It's always left with
Right.
security.
Security is
I mean,
kind of a front-facing deal where
Yes.
we either get rid of them and don't have it at all, or they
Well,
do their work.
I mean,
the other option is to, I mean, it isn't the people coming through, usually that's the problem with security, but you basically have two options with security. You let them do their job, or you close the gate down, and we
no,
don't
it's
wanna
not-
do that.
Or like I said, if however it gets paid, if it's done by phone, if there's the key, security can maybe just open up the room and, I don't know how the keys work, to be honest, because they're new keys. And then they don't see the customers, but at least they've heard they're coming on the floor, security says, let us go in first and put the key down there, that way there's no interaction with people.
Okay, what I suggest is that we work out the details. The problem now is, do we close the lobby? We can work out the rest of the details. Okay. Okay, do we close the lobby? Yes, no?
I'd like to hear some.
Okay, first, all right, we'll take comments. Memo,
2 weeks would be reasonable. 2
Ken?
weeks would be reasonable.
Okay, Memo Guzman says 2 weeks would be reasonable to close the lobby. And Tanya?
Should I start talking? I'm pretty loud.
Well, you
Someone-
can, yeah.
I say someone said yesterday on my Facebook, that's the one word to describe me loud. I think it's, and I'm gonna just general from a COVID-19 standpoint. I think it's something that you have to take very seriously. It is the base in Del Rio. Valverde County is not acting as a if, but as a when. They have conducted 12 tests. 2 of them have come back negative. Out of Kinney County, they were being referred into Valverde. So you're gonna have the same issue in Uvalde County and probably Medina County. It's just very rural. At the base, anyone over the age of 60 is sent home already. Any kind of underlying health conditions, they're already home. And as soon as we get a case, it's going down to minimal staffing. Of course, you're seeing that all, in Del Rio as a whole. The concern there, of course, is overwhelming the medical system. where all of that stuff is gonna get pushed into San Antonio. Apparently San Antonio gets overwhelmed just during flu season because of all the rural communities coming out. And we do have travel restrictions if we work at the base or military, and I don't.
What's
work
your comment
from
on the
as well.
lobby?
Oh, no, yeah, this is just in general. Yeah,
No,
I'm all for closing it. I'm for closing the lobby. I think some of the other things you gotta consider is what happens if there's a shelter in place coming down from the state, and we have people staying in the hotel or out at the RV park. How does that impact? Are they gonna be allowed to go home? Are they gonna be stuck here? Are we gonna be covering that kind of
You know,
revenue too?
and again, I will remind you that we are a private institution, and we are not, command takes care of the base. They can order their people, but we don't have that authority over you. And even the shelter in place is a recommended shelter in place, but people do have to move. And all the cities that have a shelter in place, except some foreign countries that they're going to penalize you with a crime, we may have to change our decisions as this thing goes. So right now, the issue is the lobby. So do we?
Close it.
Close it,
I was
yeah.
just thinking of plexiglass or something.
Yeah. Then we gotta go.
Want me to get up or can I just talk?
Well, you can stand up and identify yourself. And please keep it to the lobby closure. We've got other issues to deal with.
Mary Frances Gray, Partlow. I am in favor of doing what makes the employees comfortable. If they are not comfortable having it open, there's a little glass pane in that door. You can take that glass out, put the box inside if you're worried about that. But it's not an issue. We do it at security at night for the RV park and for the motel. They have a little envelope that they put the key and the blah, blah, blah in, and when you come in, they hand you the envelope. It's not a big deal. You just let them do their job, but close the office.
Any other comments? If you can keep them quick. And
I'm Ann Barron. My comment is that, like she said, that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to put a slot in the door where the money comes into the lobby. You don't want it on the outside, but you can have a slot fixed in that door very easily, and they'll just slip it in the door and it'll be in the lobby. The money will.
The door's separated enough where they can just slide it there.
Okay, like I said, the details we can work out. We're gonna have to work them out anyway, the
But you want
details
that
for
money
this.
inside the lobby. You
Yeah,
don't
well,
want
no,
it
that's
outside.
that's a good point, unless they can bolt it, you know. But, okay, so, Robert?
That would be April 1st. Do we want to stick with the Commissioner of Education and close the lobby through Friday, April 3rd?
To further notice.
I would think 2.5 weeks for sure.
Okay. Do we still want, you want a motion?
Sure. Let's
Based on member comment and concern, I move that we close the association office from this date till Friday, April 3rd, with payments coming through the door, however y'all decide to do that while I'm gone.
Okay.
Would you please restate that to, with the caveat that employees will still work?
Yes.
It's not an office closure, it's just closing it to the public.
Okay, so I move that we close the office to the association office to the public from this date till Friday, April 3rd, with employees on staff to collect payments and process business.
I'll second the motion.
We've had comments from the audience, motion made and seconded.
The office is normally open on Saturday. Would you want to amend it to say till Saturday the 4th?
Saturday the 4th, and I amend the motion to stipulate Saturday the 4th of April.
They're on Sundays too.
Oh, they are.
Sundays too.
Normally closed.
Well, they're normally closed on Sunday.
Yes, they're not.
Half day? Half day.
So that's the change then.
8 to 1, opening to 1.
8 to 1.
Yeah, but we're just gonna have to pick a date. Like,
Just,
we're open 7 days a week, we just gotta pick a date and do it.
Okay, so you want to go Saturday or Sunday, April 5th, and reevaluate for opening on the 6th? How does that sound?
okay,
So it's
restate it.
Okay. I move that because of COVID-19, we close the association office to the public from this date to Sunday, April 5th, and consider reopening on the 6th. Employees shall return or remain on staff to process association business.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? Unanimous, and we will inform the ladies as soon as we get done. And we'll get Philip and Matt involved on the security for the payment issues. Okay, is that satisfactory?
Yes.
Okay, the next one is a biggie. Annual meeting. Scheduled for the 28th of March. Usually has 150 people. We usually serve food. So that's two areas right there that are anti-CDC recommendations. Okay, Robert, your thoughts?
I really hate to close the membership meeting, but I hate to close the association office. So, given the times that we're in, I never thought we'd close schools. I would say legally, it's 60 days that we can postpone, is that correct?
We have to, by law, have at least one annual membership meeting per year.
Right.
And by our governing documents, it's on the last Saturday in March. However, we are under a national health emergency directly from the White House administration and the CDC. There is nothing in the law that I could find that provides us with some sort of contingency basis if everything in the United States is closed. Okay? So we are not canceling, we would not be canceling the meeting, we would be postponing the meeting. And yes, we would have to re-notify no more than 60, no less than 10 days of a new date. But we would continue to review it. However, what we will do is the audit is in its final stages. Our auditor is just tweaking it. We will release the audit, but you will not have an auditor to explain what's in the audit if you do not understand it. However, we will take your questions, give them to the auditor. But in the past, we've not had the audit on time, and we want to make sure that this time it gets to the membership. You will have to come pick it up someplace, but will be no charge. But at least we'll get that out to you. So it's for postponement, not cancellation, and yes, it'll cost us postage again to send notices out. But it's what it is.
Now, when we reschedule, if we choose to postpone, if we reschedule, can the auditor come in at that time
Yes.
and explain to the membership?
Yeah, and that
We'll have to ask.
might be after tax season, who knows? Yeah, we can request, we would just simply have a meeting the same way, but we do want to get the audit out to you since it hasn't been out timely for a while. Yes, we would invite back the same people. We would invite YJ back to do the invocation and announce the winners of, Employee of the Year and all that kind of stuff. But we have two issues here. If we did hold it on the 28th, I don't think we would be serving food because that's one of the no-nos. Okay? All right, so that's your comment, Leanna?
I don't think we have much of a, it's the membership meeting, so the membership should be able to be
Yes.
represented. And the state, or the nation, has said for the next 8 weeks for sure that people over 50 people cannot congregate. And they're actually recommending 10 in other parts of the country. So like I said, the membership meeting is very important. I think you guys should have that. But when it comes to like the food, it would be to go. You can still have stuff, but you just don't have them sitting down. But my personal opinion is you guys should have your meeting. It's just not safe right now.
Dustin?
Right. I'm of the same mindset. Of course, all of the government recommendations and the limitations on group gatherings are for government, cities, states, counties. They don't apply to us, but it's not reasonable, in my mind, to pack 150 of our members into that place right now. Our options would be, of course, to cancel it, which I would never go for, to hold it closed and video just with us sitting there talking, which I also would not go for because it is y'all's meeting. It's the annual membership meeting. That's your forum to get up there and pat us on the back or yell at us or, whatever y'all decide to do. And I feel our best option is to postpone it until this craziness is over so that y'all can come participate in your annual meeting.
Okay, and the unfortunate part of it is a lot of the Winter Texans will be gone, but they'll be able to watch it by video. It's just, I agree with them, I hate this phrase, but it is what it is, and he's absolutely right. The government can't really order us to do anything because we are not a municipality, city, county, or federal entity. But we think it's the safest way to handle it for our membership. So we talked about this, and I personally think that it should be delayed at least maybe 60 days to allow this thing to run its course.
I don't want to date really until we find out what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, the president said the other day, July or August,
Yeah.
and I don't know.
I don't want to keep having it at a
I'd
meeting.
like to hear.
Yeah, because we have a notice issue with meetings, so we're gonna have to actually come up with a date. 60 days gives us at least time to notice people if we decide to have it in 45 or whatever. Okay, let's take some brief comments, please, on what you think about the annual meeting, membership meeting being postponed. Memo. And it is better if you use the microphone so that people can hear you when they watch the video.
Guillermo Guzman. I suggest that if you're gonna postpone it, consider Memorial Day weekend. If you don't postpone it, consider having it outside, which would be another option. And as far as notice, we live in a different era now, so I would suspect that at this time, that instead of spending money on mailouts, Facebook, dispatch, or notices on the building. Because right now, there is an issue with money. It's very obvious.
Yeah, we've done that, we did that once and we had to do a special meeting because we sent it through our dispatch and the membership, it has to be mailed out. Through our bylaws, it says notice has to be mailed out to everyone. And we had to pay it twice because we did have legal saying we were able to do that. However, we ended up still having to do a special meeting because the membership wanted it mailed to them.
This being a very unusual circumstance, that's what I'm talking about. So, it wasn't like, I remember that, I'm very clear on that, but it's just something to consider.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 2.
Dennis left, and we have a lot of great outdoor sites on the port. I'd recommend using one of them. And then us Winter Texans would still be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more comments? Kathy?
Kathy Warren. Okay, as we all know, everything is getting postponed. The Border Patrol usually had their annual meeting, right? They postpone it until September. Las Vegas is even shutting down, right, because they're concerned. If you can, maybe September would be good, October, but you'd have to figure out how many Winter Texans are, well, not going to be here during the summer, but maybe that'd be a good idea to have it because you wouldn't go over your quota.
Well, our fiscal year ends
Is that your bylaws?
September. Well, I was thinking we're encroaching onto the next annual meeting if we did it after
Oh,
September.
okay. Okay, that's cool. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments?
You have a motion on the floor?
No, we're just discussing at this point.
Can we take a quick poll? I mean, we're gonna limit.
Sure, we can take a little straw poll here. I mean, you're an extreme minority, but it will give us an
It
idea.
gives us something to work with. How many of you are in favor of postponing the annual membership meeting? How many are opposed to postponing it? 1, 2,
Have it
3,
outside.
4, 5. Okay, that's an option. How many of you would like to have it in the amphitheater on March 28th when it was supposed to be? So, do you have more people going with the 28th? It's a straw poll.
I would just like to point out that this is March, going into April. The weather this time of year, I mean, if we set 28th is what it's gonna be, and if it's pouring down rain,
That's where
tough
you have
luck.
it.
That's what it is.
Or thunderstorms.
Yeah.
or hail.
or a heat wave, you know?
I mean, the outside is a wonderful idea.
But we still have to.
But you still have the 6-foot distance, and we have speaker.
Right. That meeting is locked. Once it's locked in, you know, we can't just say, hey, it's gonna be raining tomorrow, we'll do it Tuesday. It doesn't work that way.
No. So I think, yeah.
And see, I'm obviously concerned coming from Bear County because I normally sit close to Rayanna, but not today. So I honestly have this fear of coming down and wiping out 3/4 of the fort because I live in Bear County.
Yes,
I really do.
my personal recommendation would be to postpone it because I don't want to, as a board, set a date to have this meeting while all this is going on and ends up 16 days later that, you know, we have 15 members in the hospital on respirators. It doesn't seem reasonable to me in my mind. It seems reasonable just to postpone it until this passes.
But still, we could have a group of more than 50 people. And even though we are not bound by some of these restrictions, legally, we are bound by them, I think, probably ethically and morally.
Morally, at least.
Because if you can't take care of your neighbors, who else is going to take care of all of this? I mean, this also involves making sure you check on your elderly neighbors. You check on people that, you know, with small children, make sure that they're able to take care of the kids. I mean, we're a family here. And it's very important that we protect one another. And if it's a voluntary, even if it's a voluntary protection, it's something, it's not just caring for yourself, it's how your activities affect somebody else. And a meeting with 150 people outdoors is still a big exposure for people. And the chances are we may have members really bridle at that. So my personal opinion is that we should postpone it, and either 30 or 60 days, whatever, you know. It may come down to a you know, the day that they park martial law out in front of our homeowners association out here. We may, you know, you may not be able to go there anyway. So we need to play this calmly, but we need to make a decision that won't make everybody happy.
Right. There's going to be a significant number of members who otherwise would attend the yearly meeting that will not feel comfortable attending it if we have it at the end of this month. And I don't feel it would be fair to those people if we have it anyway, just because we're cavalier about it. You know, they should be able to be involved like everybody else.
So do we have any kind of a motion on the floor? Because we want to send
Right.
Robert back to
Veterans
his
meeting.
bear. Yes, I know we have to go.
Yes, I move that we postpone the annual meeting to a date to be determined as we monitor the COVID outbreak.
I second it. Okay. Any more comments at all? Okay. The motion was to postpone it to be determined date based on the progress of the COVID-19, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay, all in favor? Raise your hand. Passed unanimously. We will notify immediately by dispatch. Julie's sitting right here. We will work on that after the meeting to notify everybody about the meeting, and we will put it on Facebook.
Yes.
Put it on Facebook. We will put it on the marquee and spread the word.
Right.
Okay.
Having done that, I would now
Did you already mail them?
like to return to action item number 4, and I would move that we table the review and approval of bids for the lunch event for the annual meeting until such time as we determine a date for it.
Now, we have mailed the notices out, so how are we going to let them know that it's canceled? Are we just doing social media or?
Yeah, we're gonna do social media on this, because of those 150